Welcome to Puppetized Children's Church. Chitter, 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 chitter. So what have you guys been up to this week? Porky, what have you and Isaac been doing?
Pork, 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 pork. Porky has been playing ping pong with me, and we've been going outside to take pictures of the birds.
Oh, and has he been helping you with your homework too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you've had quite a bit of homework.
Yeah.
What have you two been doing this week?
Gonk, 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 gonk.
We've been coloring
And reading, right? Right? Was that what you've been doing? Have I seen you reading in your room with your book?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, does Garrett like your book too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, does he help you read it sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter, okay, Chitter. Chitter wants to say that he's been climbing trees. Not me, but he has been. And he's been helping me cook dinner. And you'll notice how good a job I did of not saying they're puppets, of just letting them talk. And All right. Maybe we should go on to the memory verse before I get myself in more trouble. Isaac, can you tell us the memory verse?
I am the light of the world, John 8:12.
Oh, that's a nice short one. Chitter, chitter, chitter. Yeah, I didn't write a song for it, sorry. All right, let's say it all together. I am the light of the world, John 8:12. Who do you think says that in our story? Who do you think says that, Gary?
Gonk, gonk, gonk.
Jesus.
You're right, Jesus says that. And what does that mean? Why does Jesus say, I am the light of the world? Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter does a nice job of raising his hand, doesn't he? But what do you think, Chitter? Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter thinks the memory verse means that Jesus is a big flashlight.
Pork, pork.
Yeah? Yeah, what do you think, Porky? What do you think the memory verse means?
Porky realized the memory verse is saying that Jesus is the light of the world and his sun gives us light. So Porky thinks that Jesus is the sun.
Oh, well, he's the Son of God, but that's a little bit different, son. What do you think, Garrett? What do you think the memory verse means?
Garrett thinks we should ask Mr. Kevin.
Oh, you think we should go ask Kevin what the memory verse means? Chitter, chitter. Chitter, chitter agrees. Do you agree, Porky?
Pork, pork.
Okay, we'll go do that.
Gong 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 gong. So Garrett has a question. So our memory verse is Jesus is the light of the world, and Chitter thinks that means that Jesus is a flashlight, and Porky thinks that means that Jesus is the sun. So Garrett wants to know what you think that means.
Oh, thank you, Garrett. That's a great question, and not an easy one. So, hi kids. Good to see everybody. Thanks for coming today. So when the Bible says that Jesus is the light of the world, first we need to think about what light does. So, light helps us see things when it's dark. Light takes away the darkness. So, for example, if you're in the dark, like at night, and you need to go somewhere, and there's no light at all, you're stuck. You don't know where to go. You could crash into something. You could run into a tree. You could crash into a wall. There could be a monster. Ah! You just don't know because it's dark. But when you get a light or you turn on a light, then you can see where to go and everything's okay. So when you don't know about God, it's like you're in darkness. You don't know what's right or what's wrong. You don't know what God wants us to do. And you might do the wrong thing just because you don't know what the right thing is, because you don't know about God. So you're in darkness. You don't know what to do. But if you know about God, then you can learn what's right and what's wrong, and you know what the right thing is to do. And then you're in God's light. So when Jesus says he's the light of the world, he means that he teaches us about God. And that way, he shows us what we should do, what's right and what's wrong. And we know the right thing to do if we know God. So Jesus is the light of the world because he teaches us about God. That was a great question, Garrett.
All right, so thanks to Mr. Kevin for helping us figure out our memory verse. Let's say it one more time. I am the light of the world. John 8:12. Anna, do you have a song for us today?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, because it fits with the memory verse.
Oh, you want to do that one? Okay. All right.
Twinkle,
Twinkle, little star, God has put you where you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, God has put you where you are. Chitter, chitter, chitter. Chitter wants to know if we can do This Little Light of Mine too. The flashlight made him think of that song.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work? Okay. You want to start it? Me. Okay. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine. Not let Satan it out, I'm gonna let it shine. Not let Satan it out, I'm gonna let it shine. Not let Satan it out, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine. Okay, so we're back to doing stories about Jesus, and Jesus is still healing people. He's healed 3 people so far, I think. Porky, could you remember one of the people he healed?
Pork.
Oh yeah, the servant of the Roman soldier. Remember the Roman soldier had faith and he sent to Jesus and Jesus healed him? Chitter! Oh, Chitter's got one too. Chitter says, chitter, 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 chitter. Oh, the woman who'd been bleeding for 12 years. And then we had, oh yes, the girl who was 12 years old who had died. Well, in our story today, actually we have 2 stories. And our story today, Jesus is going to heal 2 blind people. Now, Porky, what was it you said you'd been doing this week?
Pork.
That's right, playing ping pong and taking pictures of birds. Now, if you were blind, could you do those things?
Pork.
Not very well, right? I mean, you could try to play ping pong, but it'd be very hard. And it really wouldn't be much fun to take pictures of birds. No. And Chitter, what have you been doing? Chitter, 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 chitter. Yeah, climbing trees and helping cook. You could probably still help cook if you were blind, but chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter's not sure about climbing trees. Actually, you know what? I think if you were blind, you would get really good at climbing trees because blind people can do some amazing things. And Garrett, what have you been doing this week?
Gong, 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 gong.
Oh, that's right. And Garrett has been helping color and read. And if you're blind, you can read, but you have to read something called Braille that has little dots on it. And you could still color, but if you couldn't see what it looked like, maybe it would be more fun to play with Play-Doh and do things like that, statues and make things like that. So here is our first story. One day, Jesus and his disciples were walking along a road in Jerusalem. They saw a man who had been blind since he was born. That man had never seen the sun or the moon and stars. The disciples asked Jesus, "Why was this man born blind? Did he or his parents do something bad that made God punish them?" But Jesus said,
Gong, 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 gong.
said, "No, they didn't. But because he is blind, you will see God work a miracle for him. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world." There's our memory verse. Then Jesus spit to wet the ground. He made a ball of mud and rubbed it on the blind man's eyes. he told the man to go wash off the mud in the pool of Siloam. The man went to the pool and washed the mud off his eyes, and when he opened his eyes again, he could see. People asked him,
Chatter, chatter, chatter.
what happened? And the man told them,
Porky, porky, pork, 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 pork.
that a man named Jesus had come and told him what to do. The people asked,
Chatter, chatter, chatter.
where's Jesus now? Where's this man now? And the blind man, the man who had been blind, answered,
Pork, pork.
I don't know. He also said,
Pork, 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 pork.
but he must be a prophet like Elijah and Elisha, because he couldn't do this unless he came from God. So there's our first story. That man had been born blind. He had never been able to see anything. And the disciples thought that if he was blind, that must mean his parents had done something bad. But Jesus said no. No, his parents didn't do anything bad. But because he was blind, they would get to see Jesus work an amazing miracle. And Jesus said, I'm the light of the world. And he was light for that man. Well, we have a second story. And Porky and Chatter already talked about it. And they decided they were going to switch parts. Do you need help with your costumes, Porky and Chatter?
Pork, pork, pork.
Oh, okay. So let's switch our costumes off. So this time, Porky gets to be somebody who is in the crowd. Isn't that nice? They're switching off. They're trading off. They thought that might be more fun to get to trade. And Chatter gets to be the man who is blind. Swoop, swoop. We will see how this story goes. Okay. Come back here, Chitter. All right. Story number 2. A blind man sat near the side of the road to the city of Jericho. He was begging for coins because he was blind, so he really couldn't work. Suddenly, that beggar heard the sound of voices. He could tell a large crowd was coming, and they sounded very excited. When they got closer, the man asked them,
Chatter, chatter, chatter.
Tell me, what's going on? Somebody answered him,
Pork, 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 pork.
Jesus of Nazareth is coming by. So the blind man shouted,
Chatter, chatter, chatter.
Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me. The people in the crowd said,
Pork, 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 psh, pork, pork, pork.
yeah, be quiet. Shh, be quiet. But this just made that man shout louder and louder,
Chatter, chatter, chatter.
Jesus, have pity on me. Jesus stopped and he told some people to bring that blind man over. The man's name was Bartimaeus. Jesus asked him,
Gong, 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 gong.
what do you want me to do for you? Bartimaeus answered,
Chatter, chatter, chatter.
Lord, I want to see. Jesus told him,
Gong, 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 gong.
look, and you will see. Your eyes are healed because of your faith. There, I got it, Isaac. Now Bartimaeus could see. He saw Jesus. He could see all the people around him. They all praised God for this miracle. And there was only one thing Bartimaeus wanted to do. He wanted to join the people and go with Jesus. And he did. So there's our second story. You guys can pop up if you want to, or you can just leave the puppets here. I guess either one is fine. And in both stories, Jesus healed somebody who was blind. He got to be their light. And did you notice in the second story that Jesus told Bartimaeus his faith had healed him? Just like he keeps telling people when they're sick and he heals them, it's their faith. Well, if Bartimaeus hadn't had any faith, would he have yelled and yelled to get Jesus' attention? No, I don't think he would have. But his faith, he believed Jesus could heal him, so he yelled to get Jesus' attention, even though everybody told him, be quiet, be quiet. But if I was sick and knew Jesus was coming by, I wouldn't stop yelling either. Well, our memory verse said, I am the light of the world. That Jesus is the light of the world. But we're supposed to be kind of like Jesus. So we're supposed to be lights too. We're supposed to help other people too, just like Jesus did. And that's why we sang the song, This Little Light of Mine, because we get to be lights too, just like Jesus. And now, it's time for Anna to explain the craft.
Okay, so here's today's craft. It'll look something like this one's done. Okay, so you can print out all the pieces. It should be a page with strips uncolored, kind of like this, just plain white strips with lines in between. And then there should be 2 circles, like blank circles. And then you can color them, each on one side. This one has to be this out with the words, but it doesn't really matter with this one. And then you can color the strips and cut them out. I just did lines because it's faster. And then you can staple the strips on all the way around the circle. And then once you're done with that, well, you can glue the strips too. And then you can just use the other circle with the memory verse, which is the front, and you can either staple it or glue it onto the back one so that the strips are in between. So, yep.